Those kinds of shock. I told you about a friend of mine who wanted to throw a surprise 40th birthday for his wife. So he started calling on to everybody coming to come, got a venue, a surprise party that all of us will get there. And then, when he deceives her, she will come and we just surprise, that kind of, for her 40th birthday. So he started reaching out to her friends, reached out to some of us. And then to crown the surprise, he thought, let me call her mother from the village. So he calls the mother and he says, Mama, I would send you some money. You need to come down to Lagos. And she said, that she's tired of that. Coming to Lagos or Guinea for what? He's Yoruba, she is not. He said that it is your daughter's 40th birthday and he wants to plan something for her. And she was like, so 40th birthday is a big deal now. Mama, you have to make this journey. And the mama was like, 40th birthday for her. Okay. That how can she be 40 when their third born is 42 and she is the firstborn? He was like, what? He said, yes now. How can she be 40 when their third born, she's the firstborn and their third born is 42? It was that day that he found out that his wife was 4 years older than him. But she had changed, sworn an affidavit because she knew, I don't know, that if he found out she was older, she would. So she had done a lot of things. She saw an affidavit. Her driver's license was also showing that she was 40. She was confused. He was confused rather. Sorry, 40K. I'd be 40. Then she will be 45 or something, and he was 42. She was 46. It's like, how is that possible? The mother said, that the third born is 42. She is the firstborn. Can the third born be older than the firstborn? What is he saying? He sat down. That was how the surprise birthday ended. And when he called her, he said, come, how old are you? And she said, what kind of question is that? It was when he remembered that one of the younger siblings had sent a CV to him to help get a job. He now went to look for the CV and now saw the age. He was the same age with their third born, and she was the firstborn. And the wife said, well, we're married, as in, so what is it now? Okay, yes, I am. Well, so what is it? He was just staring like he had seen a ghost. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to be careful when you are dating. You need to investigate every story you hear. People tell you, I'm from this university, like our politicians, and then when you dig deep, nobody in the old boys knows who he's talking about. The funny thing about lies. First of all, please remember, for those that just came in, the definition of a lie is an untrue statement with an intention to deceive. You cannot mistakenly lie to someone. You cannot accidentally lie to someone. Lies are intentional. You have the manipulative liar, you have the pathological liar. Sociologists now believe that those that just lie for no just reason have a form of mental disorder, because you are under no pressure to lie. You are not in trouble. Nothing is, you just lie. That is a pathological liar. It has become a program in their brains. Now, the people with the highest rate of being deceived in relationships, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? The people with the highest deceit rate in relationships are, number one, Christians. Number two, those in long distance relationships. And number three, the simple. Yes. Those that have the highest rates Let me change it. I will use physics. Those with the highest propensity for deception, that is, to be deceived. Those with the highest propensity to be deceived in relationships are number one, Christians. Number two, those in long distance relationships. And number three, the simple. Now, why Christians? Christians are vulnerable because of their religion. Their religion tells them to believe all things. They say love believes all things. But they don't know the interpretation of that is that love believes the best. It believes the best of you. Not believes all things about you, believes in the best of you. Anyway, all Christians have to say, all you have to say to a Christian is that you prayed, or God told you, and they just believe. Or you attend the same church. They say, I know him, he's an usher in my church, he will not lie. In churches, you know the funny thing, let us even start from the funniest part. Let me see, I hope I have, how is time just flying like this? Have you seen people that do shorty for people? You know, because you attend the same church, you want to open an account, you just say, well, I know him. They stand as guarantors, they stand as shorties. Now, the first time I did that, there was a day I was called from Panti police station because I was a shorty for someone. He's much older, he's a senior lawyer, and I just did, to open an account, and he did a transaction and disappeared with some people's money. And when the police tracked, they couldn't find him. They just went to his bank to look for his shorty to opening the account. I was invited, and next thing, my brother, they brought out account opening form that I filled like 5 years ago that I signed as shorty. It is very, very dangerous to be a shorty or a guarantor because you don't know who they are. Just because we are church members. You go to, some people are arrested, a lot of times in cases of domestic violence and abuse. A person that comes to stand for the abuser are the pastors and they are deacons, they are hierarchy in the church. They come to stand as shorty. Now, this year we've had to arrest 4 of them who spent at least 24 hours in detention because they came to stand for somebody. Why? Because he comes to my church. Because I don't understand. Christians have the highest gullibility rate in this world. There is no other. There is no other. And why? Simply because he attends my church. He's an usher. He's a chorister. He wouldn't lie. And that is why the Bible says a wise man discerns his ways. That is, he looks well before he goes. But the foolish, in the multitude of voices, they don't even have the capacity to think. Their head is always full. And do you know that it is lies that are loudest? The loudest voices are lies. That is why they say that an empty drum makes the loudest noise. Those in long distance relationships, I always discourage long distance relationships. You are here, the person is in America. You don't even know. I told you of one of my aburos that dated someone and they met for the first time about 3 to 4 days before the wedding. I said, you don't even know her body odor. You don't know how she smells. You don't know her attitude. You say, we call a lot. How can you know somebody's mood? How can you know someone's tell signs over a video call when your relationship is powered by network? No network, no relationship. The person tells you, I work at so. You don't know because you can't even visit at the office. You just believe. You just have to believe whatever they tell you over long distance relationships. I would tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I discourage long distance relationships. I even saw a statistic online about long distance relationships that their marriages do not get to 4 years. A lot of them, not all of them, but most of them. Why? Because there are too many blanks that you cannot see, you cannot feel. So things you ought to have seen while dating, you will now start seeing in marriage because you were never together. Or, you are some people, long distance relationships don't necessarily mean that the person is even in another continent. You can be in the same country. In fact, at times you can be in the same local government area, but you don't get to see the person. It is probably once a month or two, one weekend. I'm busy, you are busy. You are in a long distance relationship because you are missing so many things. You are in a relationship with someone whose neighbor knows more about him than you because you don't have time. You don't see. You don't spend time together. Those that have the more marginal propensity to fail in detecting lies are Christians, long distance relationshipers, and the simple. Now, the simple is even another topic that I have to deal with again for people who are just joining, who just got to know. Christians have the highest. It's even, listen, 87% of failed marriages are from Christians. Cases of domestic violence and abuse, separations and divorces are from Christians. And you can easily trace them to lies. They believed lies. So when they got married, they now started seeing that everything was a lie. The Bible says in 1 John 4:1. Let me read that out. In the New Living Translation, to the Christians there. Dear friends, do not believe everyone who claims to speak by the Spirit. When they come, they tell you, well, I've prayed, this is what God says. The Bible tells you, don't believe everyone. That is 1 John 4. You must test them to see if the spirit that they have comes from God. Now, spirit there is talking about conscience, it's talking about truth. If they fear God. Kabiru official says, what is the third category, please? The first are Christians. The second, those in long distance relationships. The third, the simple. Simple people are referred to as simpletons in the dictionary. They are the naive. People that believe because I don't wish anybody bad, then no bad thing can happen to me. They're just simple. They just simple life. They are the naive that don't know that life is actually complicated. I would tell you that always check out people's stories to see if they are lying or if they are telling the truth. The thing about religion, especially when Christians are the most gullible, is this: the real intention of a man, I keep saying, is not in his religion, but in his character. So stop looking for his character in his religion, but look for his religion in his character. From his character, he will tell you what he believes in. If he is a Christian, it is not by name, it is by character. They were called Christians because they saw that they behaved like Christ.